Well, good morning everyone, Ian from DIY Home and Gardening. Sunday the 11th of February, which is perfect time for sowing sweet peas. So let's turn the camera around and have a look together. So they're the ones that have saved from last year predominantly, these ones. So all named by my son out of his collection. Then I've got the Peter Seabrook ones, and then I've bought some incense mixed for this year as a new one, just a bit of well, a bit more vigorous variety to grow in the allotment. Now it's a lot of people sow sweet pea seeds in the autumn, and that's great, that suits a lot of people. The only problem I have with that is where to have the plants outside in a protected area. Kind of don't have enough space, and invariably what happens is that you start them off with all the best intentions over autumn or late autumn. They start growing quite well. You have to pinch them back, otherwise they will get too straggly and weak, and then you need to protect them a little bit over winter, and the last few winters have been quite hard. So instead, I'd rather start them off in February time, avoid the first lot of pinching that you have to do, avoid all that winter protection, and makes my life a lot easier. So essentially, as I say, seed saved from last year, and I always do it this way because quite frankly that's all how I've always done it. You start them off into some water, and that just helps to soften up this outer casing, allow the seed to draw some moisture in, which in turn creates some little splits within the seed casing itself, and that allows for them to get going a little bit quicker. So yeah, it's just a case of opening up all of these packets, doing one in turn, pop the seeds into the water, and don't mix them up. Right, so you have to try and ignore the slight hum because that is the pump from the tank. And let's get these open. So these are Peter Seabrook, which, as you may remember from last year, were ones that I got from the breeder. There we are, and indeed it was the flower that Peter Seabrook, or the sweet pea flower that Peter Seabrook presented the late Queen at Chelsea. So that's how dried sweet peas look, and all we're doing was pop them into the water there. Now you can see that some have sunk straight away, some are on the surface. Ones on the surface actually have got air attached to them. And what you want is for the seeds to be at the base. So we give them the benefit of doubt, we give them a few hours to well, absorb the water, settle in, and then what you'll be looking for, any of these ones at the bottom, well, they'll be good to sow. Anything that floats to the surface, that's not going to be viable. So that's the tip there, and we'll just pop it with the packet in front and work our way through. Now the good thing with having saved my own seed is that when I'm saving the seed, I already do this float test to begin with. So I'm only saving what is classed as the viable seed to start with. Now you will notice, if you've saved your own seed, the odd one or two will suffer with a little bit of mould formation, or can do, not necessarily true, but they can do, and that's fine. It's generally just on the surface of the seed, so at that point you can well, hope that that seed will be viable, which some still are, and you might get the odd one that changes, but don't worry. And the final one, and that is that. And I can stay in the water for a few hours because I'm off to work. So I'll see you tonight. Okay, back from work, about to carry on with the sweet pea video, and need to fill up some trays. And I've bought for this year these ones, which are from Westland, this Visi-Root cell trays made from recycled plastic. And the reason I've gone for them actually is because they're so deep. Now, as a comparison, let's pop those to one side. These are the ones that I normally use, which, as it turns out, is a more squat version, and they reckon that these are about 30% deeper. Probably 25% is a better suggestion. And also the fact that they're clear is going to be quite good, not just for the sweet peas, but more for when I'm doing cuttings, because then actually you'll be able to see the root formation instead of having to sort of judge as to how the plants are doing and only being able to tell adequate root formation when they're showing out the bottom. So yeah, this is what I'm going for. Each of these holds is a 20 cell tray, so it's going to be ideal. I've got the seeds indoors still, so what I'm going to do, fill maybe 3 or 4 of those trays and then get going. Seed trays filled up, they've been firmed down and had a good water, and then just been left to stand for half an hour just to get that excess through. In the meantime, I've brought out the sweet pea seeds. There were a couple that had floated, so removed those, and that's everything now that is suitable for sowing. So really it's just going to be a case of sorting my labels out now, writing a label for each of these different colours or varieties, and working out roughly how many of these cells I'm going to fill. To make things easier, don't forget to empty your water out. Just doing again one variety in turn, so you don't mix anything up or have anything that fall out where it shouldn't be. Okay, so I've written the label for the first one, Peter Seabrook, and I'm going to fill 2 rows, if you like, of each one. So having tipped out all the water, can then just scoop these few out, so you can see that they're looking much more swollen than they were earlier this morning. And all I tend to do, just pop them out for the time being, 1 per cell, to make sure that I've got enough to fill that tray, or that amount that I'm doing. So I have. Now I can just go around again and add in a second, because I just want to make sure that I'm going to have these cells nicely filled, so that when I come to plant, I've got 1 extra there, when I come to plant they're going to be nice full cells, and all I do, just push them down into the compost like so. And then do a light covering over the top, well, filter the top just with some more compost. Firm, lightly, making sure that the cells are filled to the top, and that's the first variety done. And then we'll just repeat the process until we've got all of the cells done and all the varieties done. Compost on, and making sure if you've got any large bits, just discard those. And that is the first tray done, and they don't need to be in a propagator, they can just be left on the side and they will come up quite easily. So just the rest to contend with now. As you can see, the potting tray is empty, everything's gone, which means I must have finished doing the sweet peas. So there we are. End up having to fill an extra tray because I'd miscounted. There we are. And so that's, well, obviously the seeds sown. Come back once they're sprouting and doing something. See you soon. Back in the greenhouse, 25th of February. So exactly 2 weeks on from when we did the sweet pea seed sowing. Easy to say in the morning. And you can see that on the whole, they are all germinated. Varying stages. There we are. And that is without being in, well, without a heated propagator, base heat. So this is just within the temperature of the greenhouse. So yeah, on the whole, doing well. Varying stages of germination and growth there. And from this stage, what I'll do, wait until your first true set of leaves appear and branch out, which would be those ones. Once they've branched, and then you get the next piece of shoot appearing, that's when you'd pinch the tip. So you take the actual top out, which would then encourage side shooting from your first set of true leaves, and that's what's going to give you nice multiple branched sweet pea plants, and then each one of those shoots will then carry flower. So that's what you want, and so that is how I start my sweet peas. So that's it, that's the video done from seed sowing through to germination and shooting of the sweet pea plants themselves. So next stage will be pinching the tips out to encourage your multiple shoots, and wait until, with these it makes it easier, but wait until you've got root all the way filling to the bottom before you think about potting them up. That's my advice. You want a decent structure, otherwise as soon as you pull those out, then all the compost is going to crumble away and you'll be left with the bare root as for the sweet pea, and they don't enjoy them being transplanted. So you want to do it as the little root ball, but don't do it, oh no, do it, sorry, before it becomes root bound, because otherwise they don't tend to carry on producing root further down into a new pot. So that's the next staging. But if you've got any questions, then obviously send those questions to me. I'll do my best to answer them for you. If you like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on future videos I'm doing. And above all else, always say it, but it's so true, have fun, enjoy what you're doing, and try something different. And if that means trying a different variety or a different way to do it, then give it a go. Till next time, bye for now.